Hey there, 5 minute video time. Someone recently asked me for some advice or assistance in helping their church start a ministry to the poor in their community. And I had put together several years ago. First, I did a blog series called How to Start a Ministry to the Poor in Your Community. That's on my blog, by the way. It's for free if you want to go look that up. It's a 5-part series. And then I also compiled all that into an ebook. So it's on Amazon for 99 cents. If you're curious, you want to just have the whole thing in one simple, ebook. That's available too. Or you could just watch this series because I'm going to do a video series on the exact same thing. So there you go. It's pick your poison there. So here's some things. Now, I'm not going to, in this series, go into, sort of the theological reasons about why we should care for the poor. I'm just going to assume that if you're watching this, you already get that. And I want to just move into sort of the how. And these are things I've learned mostly by making mistakes over the years. And I'm still definitely in the process of learning. My wife and I and our family have been doing this with our church for 15 years or so at least. And so anyway, here's just some things that I've learned. I'm just going to go through the list. So one thing I would suggest to do if you're going to get started is seek out other people, other Christians in your area who are already doing something that you feel called to do. That's what I did when I got started. There was a church in our area that had a really good ministry to the poor. And so I just found the guy in charge of that, and we went to lunch together, and I just picked his brain for a little bit. And then I also started getting to know the chaplain at the rescue mission here in Orange County. And he was also a really great resource for me of just understanding, there's so much you don't know. And I'm hoping for some of you, these videos or the blogs I wrote will be a resource for you the way this was for me. But I think it's important to be in relationship with people that have already gotten farther down the road than you on this and have a lot more experience doing this than you do. And so that would be one of my encouragements to you, is to find other Christians who have already been doing this for a while and get to know them and learn from them and be in relationship with them. So I would also say from the beginning, you need to understand this is a spiritual battle. The people you are going to be ministering to who are homeless or in poverty, they have so many challenges, not just economic. Some of them, it is mainly economic, but for a lot of them, the challenges are mental, emotional, spiritual. There's addictions. There could be mental illness issues, or a combination of those things. And so you need to understand that every single person you encounter is dealing with a wide variety of challenges: emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, etc. And so you really need to remain in a place of constantly praying and asking Jesus to give you his heart for people and his eyes to see them and to know them and to love them the way he does. So understand that. Prayer is really important going forward. This is a spiritual kind of battle that you're doing. A lot of people are in spiritual bondage, as well as I said, economic and other challenges. I would also say don't reinvent the wheel. This is why I think it's important for you to get in contact with other ministries in your area doing similar work, because if there's already, let's say, you see homeless people near you, or you realize there's families living in a motel and you want to do an outreach to them. Well, you should probably find out if there's already a Christian ministry who's addressing that before you just reinvent the wheel and do another one. Right? Maybe you're going to do a second or a third or a fourth because Christians have already, ahead of you, done all this stuff. So again, that's why it's important to do some research, ask around, find out what's already out there. And if someone's already doing something and it's a good ministry and you look at it and you say, I think what they're doing is really great, just help them, just show up and say, hey, we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. It's only one church. Why don't we help each other to do this? I would also encourage you to become an expert of the causes of poverty in your community. Do some research. I was able to find all kinds of research about poverty in Orange County, and I suspect you might be able to find something as well, especially if you live in a larger metropolitan area. There probably are community initiatives where they've done studies on the causes of poverty or the economic welfare or, kind of cross-section of what's going on in your community. And again, that just helps you understand the people that you're reaching out to. What are their real challenges? It isn't enough just to say, especially in Orange County, just get a job. Why don't you people get a job? Like the people that we're ministering to in the motel in Santa Ana, where we've been for 15 years, most of them have a job because you can't live in a motel if you don't have a way to pay rent. So they have a job. Some of them have more than one job. The problem is the jobs that they have, the jobs that are available, mostly in the service industry, don't pay enough to afford, a one-bedroom apartment in Orange County. It's just that the problem is affordable housing. So again, understanding that these are people, most of them, who are working really hard and really want to take care of their children and their families, but they're really struggling to do that. And their struggles, again, are myriad. Real quick, I'm going over 5 minutes, but hey, live with it. I would say also then pray about building a team of people who have a similar heart. Please don't do this on your own. This is not a Lone Ranger ministry. You really need to pray about and seek out other people who also, want to step into this. And again, you're going to accomplish more together than you will alone. And then I would also say, don't just copy what other people are doing. In other words, don't take from what I'm doing and just duplicate it where you are. I say this about church, and I say this about this kind of ministry. You need to understand prayerfully the need, the approach, the strategy, the direction, the goal, and for you and for where you are, and let the Lord speak to you about that, because I definitely believe those things will look different depending on where you are. And I would say also start close to home. Start as close to home as possible, your own neighborhood. Ask God to show you, give you eyes to see people living in poverty near you who are struggling, and start there. In other words, don't drive across town or to another city because they've got a huge homeless problem, right? Again, if it's something that's that obvious, there's probably already a half a dozen Christian ministries already taking care of that problem or working to minister to people in that area. You might need to pray about, okay, Lord, what about my neighborhood? What about my community, my town? Within 5 to 10 miles at the most from where you physically live. Honestly, maybe on your own street, there could be just single moms or families struggling to pay the rent, who would desperately, need someone to come and knock on their door and say, how can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I bless you? So anyway, that's the end of part one. There's a whole lot more to talk about, and leave your comments. Please subscribe to make sure you keep up with what's going on, and we'll continue to talk about how you can start a ministry to the poor in your community. God bless.